Good day, and thank you for joining us. I am Trish Lewis, the Program Director of Faces of Women Imprisoned. We are a Speakers Bureau platform that provides a training ground to empower women impacted by incarceration to tell their stories. We're honored that you joined us today in celebration of our 2022 Veteran Cohort graduation. Congratulations to this special group of women who persevered through many challenges and obstacles to finish this program strong. I am so proud of you and honored to have taken this journey with you. With this cohort, we collaborated with Veterans of Virtue to provide holistic solutions to health and wellness. Although this was a small and intimate group, we are a group of women that have served in the military or had a spouse or close relative of someone who has served. Being impacted by incarceration and a war veteran myself, I can draw many similarities between the prison and the military systems, both causing deep trauma and lasting effects. For the past 6 months, Our Ladies participated in a program that took a deep dive into mental and behavioral health, emotional intelligence, confidence building, digital literacy, financial literacy, wealth building, and public speaking. We learned holistic ways to heal from physical and emotional traumas and activate the power to create a better future. It is our mission by the end of this program that participants walk away with a deeper sense of self and all the tools necessary to be their best selves in their personal and professional lives. An added benefit of being a part of our program is being in our forever family as you join the alumni program upon graduation. This opens up access to a profile on our Global Speakers Bureau platform where graduates can book paid speaking engagement opportunities from all over the world. Now, before we begin, I have to give a big thank you to all of you, our viewers, our supporters, sponsors, and partners. Foundation Chanel, Arnold Ventures, Third Point, Ford Foundation, Art of Justice Fund, Veterans of Virtue, and the NFL. A special thank you to Starling, Tanya, Chris, Whitney, Topeka, and the Lone staff for your assistance in making all of this possible. Today, you'll be hearing from a vast background of individuals who have impacted in many ways from the prison and military systems. These are their stories. Thank you for listening. Thank you for celebrating with us, and enjoy.
Blessings. I'm Topeka K. Sam, founder and CEO of the Ladies of Hope Ministries. Our epic vision is to end poverty and incarceration of women and girls globally. I'm also the president of TKS Ventures, Epic Financial Solutions, and Faces and Voices, Inc. Since my release from incarceration in 2015, I have dedicated every waking breath ensuring the dignity and equity to previously and presently incarcerated women and girls. This Women's History Month, it is critical that we shine a bright light on the challenges that justice-impacted women face, from the sister that lives in a prison, to the sister that visits a prison, to the baby girl who visits her loved one who is in prison, to the woman that works in a prison. All of us are directly affected by the criminal legal system, and the barriers that each of us face, unfortunately, have not gotten better. When you invest in a woman, you invest in her children, her family, and her future. This is why it is critical that we are providing tangible resources to women and girls that will help them heal first and empower them to transform their lives. At the LOHM, we focus our work in two pillars. One is direct service and sustainability. The other is advocacy and engagement. What we know is we cannot fight for ourselves or anyone else unless our basic human rights are met, which is access to healthy food, access to affordable housing, access to career development opportunity and training, and health equity. And we approach our work in that way. And so we have Hope House, which is a safe housing space for women and girls in New York and in New Orleans. We're scaling that, building our first 20-unit affordable housing development in South Florida, and also our first Hope Hub, bringing community-based organizations together that have shared and aligned values for women and girls affected by these systems in Prince George's County, Maryland, along with the Hope House and 10 micro units for women and girls. We're also expanding globally, working in Trinidad and Tobago and Bogota, Colombia. And so while our work, which is very unique because there is not enough people doing work in this area, I am excited and really grateful that the Reform Alliance has taken Women's History Month not only to highlight the incredible work that my staff and my team are doing, but also other women and girls around this country.
Thank you for allowing me to be with you today. As a minister, I always like to start off with prayer. So let me pray. Heavenly Father, we come before you invoking the blood of Jesus upon this moment, where you said in your word that wherever two or more gather together in your name, you are there also. We know that you are here with us today. We ask that you guide us, lead us in the way we should go, all our steps, as we pray and work. Amen. Okay. All right. Good afternoon. Faces of Women Imprisoned. This is, I'm honored, the vet Cohort. I'm honored to be speaking with you today. Let me tell you a little bit about myself. I'm now Reverend Elson James McGee. I'm a Vietnam combat veteran. I was wounded in combat in Vietnam. And 15 days after I got home, I was in Fulton County Jail in a padded cell. And after that, I spent 20 calendar years in and out of the penitentiary system in this country. It was not until I gave my life over to Jesus and went to a seminary in prison. As a matter of fact, in Leavenworth, Kansas, in a Southern Baptist seminary. And 12 of us started out in this class, and I was the only one that finished it. So I'll go to Leavenworth prison and see my picture in the chaplain's office. Imprisonment has been a way of people dealing with deviance from time immemorial. But I know from a fact that you can't put crime in jail. You can only lock up people. And people that locked up have an opportunity to change. I changed my whole way of life in prison. I couldn't go nowhere else. And I came to Mercer University, started Mercer University in Atlanta Penitentiary, and met Dr. Jean Hendricks. She was the dean of students at the time. And she gave me a book, Man's Search for Meaning, by Viktor Frankl. He was incarcerated in Germany in a Nazi concentration camp. And all of his family was killed except him. And after the war, they wanted to know what kept him alive, what kept him going on. And he said what kept him alive, it was having relevancy, having something to deal with that was bigger than him, a cause. So I developed a cause while I was in prison. I made my mind up that I wasn't gonna go back anymore. After the last time I made my mind up I wasn't gonna go back. When I know recidivism is the easiest thing you can do. I got out one time, same day I got out, I was with my same friends that I was with before I went to jail, and I went right back. So I changed my associates. That didn't mean I stopped having those friends. I just didn't hang out with them anymore. I started doing something different because I wanted something different. And I'm saying this, we live in a time and in a society where you can always change up. You can always change up. I was released from prison the last time in 1995. Since then, I have become, I went to work for the Atlanta VA as a CWT and became administrative supervisor of mental health, where I was able to change the whole clinic, make it more veteran friendly, and change the way people interact with each other in that clinic. And was able to help a lot of the people that was experiencing disabilities that wasn't certified as disabled by VA, and got them certified. Because while I was incarcerated, I became a paralegal and actually ran the law library in the Atlanta Federal Penitentiary for 12 years. So I had a lot of experience with reading and understanding the law. I'm not saying that everybody that go to prison and come out need to go that direction, but I'm saying that you can always find a way to change and have a better life. No matter what. Don't forgive yourself if they don't forgive you. Take a good look at yourself in the mirror, and think about what you lived through and what experience you have garnished and living through that. I've actually started a program in Atlanta that working with the Veterans Code. Well, I'm an ex-offender. I'm able to go downtown to the court system and sign people into my program. So you can turn your life around and find meaning. Now I'm on the verge of retirement, but I'm also a senior pastor of Omega Holiness Church. I run Vietnam Veterans of America. I sit on the Veteran Empowerment Commission of Fulton County, which I advocated to get it set up. And we right now, just recently, we got Fulton County to put $1 million out there for veteran services. So we are in the process of, with my friend, my new friend, Tish, to make sure that that money come into the community, and so that we can do better with what we're doing. So you guys can actually do some of the things that you want to do with some of the ideas that you have. So you can be looking to what we're doing to affect you. And I just want to congratulate you and say just keep on keeping on.
Hello, my name is Nicole Palmore, and I'm the co founder of Veterans of Virtue. Veterans of Virtue is a nonprofit that offers veterans and their dependents alternative holistic wellness options. Our mission is to provide alternatives to healthcare and healing in order to not only eliminate the strain on the Department of Veteran Affairs, but to offer families sustainable life skills, especially now when 22 veterans claim their lives each day. Life skills are important and they can eventually lead to elimination of dependence on medication and offer dependence on self healing, generational health, and longevity. Veterans of Virtue was chosen by the Loam to offer a holistic wellness introduction course, also known as the Home Health Experience, HHE, to the cohorts enrolled in the Faces Bureau Speaker Program. HHE is a course that introduces basic elements of holistic wellness and explains the difference, the benefits, and how you can develop the skills to establish your journey to self care in a holistic manner. We taught the course with the acronym MEPS, MEPSS. The M stands for mental wellness, in which we learn the difference between mental wellness and emotional wellness, how to form new habits, as well as how to reframe our negative thought patterns. The E stands for emotional wellness and the effect that it can have on your day to day life, as well as the effects that it can cause on your body. The P in MEPS is physical wellness, in which we learned proper sleep hygiene, physical activity, and healthy eating. The S in MEPS was social wellness, which taught the importance of having a positive social life outside of home as well as with your family. The last S in MEPS was for spiritual wellness, which included mindfulness. And it explained the difference between spiritual wellness and being mindful, as well as offered the tools to help achieve both. During each section, we were not only able to really identify what these areas of wellness mean in a generalized way, but we were able to delve into how they relate to us on a personal level. We were able to dispel the myths and stigmas behind these functional areas in order to break down their true meaning. Each area had a personal revelation for each one of the women, and it was truly inspiring to see the growth and the understanding that each cohort displayed. While I'm usually a woman of many words, I have to say that the level of interest, growth, and participation has truly left me speechless. The exchange of knowledge among the cohorts was truly what we as a collective needed. All the cohorts came from a different walk of life, and the resilience that they showed by showing up to class and participating truly made me realize that no matter where you are from in life, change can be graceful and compassionate if you are open to it. I'm so proud of these women. Throughout our class, the recurring theme that stood out to me was grace. By definition, grace is a disposition to, or an act or instance of kindness, courtesy, or clemency. So, this word was more than befitting as a definitive word for this cohort. Having the grace to care for yourself and to give yourself the time that you deserve, the grace to be open to new ideas, the grace to want to share your knowledge with your family, the grace to continue despite your everyday life challenges. These cohorts were every bit of the word grace. Without getting too treacly, I just want to say thank you to the cohorts for showing me grace personified. I enjoyed our time together, I enjoyed our cooking classes, and I enjoyed our conversations. If there's one thing I would like to conclude with, I would like to encourage you to continue your quest for self improvement and for self care. I encourage you to push forward and to pass on what you've learned. Continue to take the time you need to process your feelings. We are all human, and one of the characteristics of being a human is that we have feelings and emotions. It is okay to hurt. It is okay to feel disappointment. It's okay to be happy even when no one else is. It is okay to take time to process what you are feeling. You are worth it. Thank you, ladies. Blessings on your future endeavors. And as usual, like I always say, each one can teach one because that is the secret to growth. Thank you, ladies, again.
Hello, everyone. I'm Raquel Durden, a retired U.S. Army Lieutenant Colonel, and also the founder and chairwoman of Humble Warrior Wellness and Yoga, a nonprofit that serves women veterans and women first responders in the area of wellness. Well, congratulations on your graduation. I'd like to thank Patricia for inviting me to celebrate with y'all and also to have the opportunity to offer some encouragement. So, graduation, isn't it awesome to be a lifelong learner? I'm 52 years old and I love learning new things. And I also love to learn how to do routine things a little bit different. So, surely you've picked up some new information, tools, or resources for creative aging. That's right, I call it creative aging, not getting older or not adulting, because we can create or enhance our own well being. So, Galatians 6:5 says, each one should carry their own load. Well, sometimes that load is a little heavy. So the load becomes lighter when we learn new things, when we share, when we encourage, when we collaborate with others for support. So just know you can craft lifestyle wellness, self care, and weave wellness practices into your daily life or regular routine for enhanced wellness. So, congratulations on your graduation. I want to share a little bit about my military background. So, I'm a veteran, go Army, HUA, but I didn't grow up wanting to serve. It wasn't modeled in my family. But I did know that by age 6, I wanted to go to college. So it was much to my surprise when I graduated high school and my parents said, "We don't have the money to send you to college, figure it out." So I joined the Army Reserve, and guess what? I loved it. I really did. So I was already in college on a college campus. So I applied for an Army ROTC scholarship and I got it. I got commissioned as a second lieutenant. Well, flash forward. I served 25 years, and that included commanding at every level: detachment, company, task force, even battalion command. But it also included jumping out of a few planes, one helicopter, 30 countries, and collaborating with some amazing people like y'all. So after serving in the military, I worked as a contractor and as a college professor. So how did I get into yoga and wellness? Like, my military friends are like, "You do yoga?" And my yoga friends were like, "You wear combat boots? It doesn't make sense." Well, I practiced yoga since 2007 just to get a little more stretching in my life and to prevent injuries or to not aggravate existing injuries. Maybe some of you can relate. I'm not sure. Then in 2016, whoa, I was training for a half Ironman competition, and I was diagnosed with advanced stage cancer. That was tough. I decided to become a yoga teacher during my cancer treatment as a complementary care and also just to help me sleep. The yoga and meditation helped me not think so much about the diagnosis. Well, that led to additional certifications and information and experience and knowledge and a lot of holistic modalities. So that's yoga, meditation, mindfulness, plant-based eating, guided journaling, and nature-centric activities. All those were things I could do for myself that didn't require, a pill, a prescription, or a procedure. So the word yoga means to yoke the mind, body, and breath. It allows you to be present. Well, I also yoked myself mentally to my faith. And then that started driving my passion and purpose. I really enjoyed sharing this newfound wellness and these wellness practices with others. And that led to Humble Warrior, the nonprofit. So I could talk all days about the benefits of yoga. Hopefully you're aware of some now, but I thought what 4 or 5 would really land with y'all. So I want to share just a couple, and I did make a list. First, it improves your flexibility. There's a gradual loosening of our muscles and tendons and tissues as we age. And yoga, it might help us. You might notice like there's less aches and pains. Like, that's worth doing it right there. It can also help you build strength. Strong muscles protect us against conditions like arthritis, pain, and preventing falls. It perfects your posture, that military posture, because imperfect posture can cause neck, back, and achy joint problems. This can, in turn, if left untreated, can cause pain and degenerative arthritis in the spine. We don't want that. It also builds better bone health. So it's well documented that weight-bearing exercises strengthen the bones and can ward off like osteopenia or osteoporosis. Yoga uses your own body weight in various postures. And then the best for last, it relaxes your system. Yoga encourages you to relax, to slows your breath, focus on the present. It helps to lower your breathing and your heart rate. It decreases blood pressure, but it increases circulation for better health, better well-being. So in closing, I genuinely want to congratulate you again on graduating. I want to remind you, however, that there is a pain that lurks out there in the world. That pain, some people might call effort, but it's a pain. It can be. It's the pain of self-discipline or the pain of regret. So simply said, do the work that's yours to do. Try and make those good choices. Practice a variety of wellness so that if you can't do one because, say it's raining or something, you can still choose from other ones. So I wish you well and enhanced well-being. Thank you for your time and attention. Be well.
Greetings, everyone. I would like to talk to you today about a story about two sisters. Tiffany was smart and determined, and I believed she could do anything, and I was somewhat jealous of her because she was so smart. It seemed like she never had to study while she was in school, while on the other hand, I would spend hours trying to understand a simple concept. Tiffany was popular all through high school and her adult life. She went to parties, met celebrities, and had all the new fashions. I wanted the same as Tiffany. I wanted to be outgoing, but I wasn't. I wanted to be smart like Tiffany, but I wasn't. I was not the popular girl in high school because I was an introvert, and I still am an introvert, and I felt uncomfortable in a crowd of people. And I did not have or wear the latest fashions, which made me an oddball. What I do remember is when people found out Tiffany and I were related, they were shocked. I would always hear, "That's your sister?" And then there's a smirk. There are more differences than similarities for two people who grew up in the same household and were considered to be sisters. For all of Tiffany's strengths, she had weaknesses, and that weakness was being in a relationship. For those of us who have experienced being in a relationship, we know the highs, the lows, and for most people, they acknowledge the pain of the relationship and they walk away. Tiffany could not acknowledge that pain. She could not handle the rejection, and because of that, it seemed like her thought process regarding relationships changed to, if I can't have you, then no one can. And that began the downward spiral for Tiffany. I, on the other hand, did not date. First, I didn't feel that I was attractive enough to date people. Second, no one ever approached me or came up to me and asked me out on a date. So I started creating a list of things that I wanted and did not want in a person. I was not comfortable dating because I still felt like a social outcast. By not dating, I took on a different view of relationships. And like I said previously, I became very particular with the people I was involved with. I had a list of standards, and it was a long list of standards. And I think looking back on my list, it made things really impossible for me to date because I needed every box on my list to be checked. I decided I was not going to let dating anyone ruin my life as it ruined Tiffany's. Tiffany was in a relationship and things were not going as smoothly as she had hoped, and the relationship ended. This relationship landed Tiffany in prison, and the charge was solicitation to murder. No one was physically harmed, but as previously stated, Tiffany's mentality had changed to, if I can't have you, then no one can. When Tiffany's family learned of the indiscretion, the family was embarrassed. The family was embarrassed because our parents were known to have good girls, and no one had been arrested in our family. The shame that our family felt and experienced is beyond explanation. The family didn't know about jail, didn't know about prisons, didn't know about visitation, what time. It was just a big nightmare. And to make things worse, the family did not even know where the county jail was located. When Tiffany was in county jail, she demanded money on her account. We had no knowledge of how to put money on your account. We don't even know where to set up an account for you. She also demanded shoes. Why would you need shoes? I did not understand the need for shoes because you're locked up now, and where are you going that you would need new shoes? If the family did not meet the needs of Tiffany, she would curse you out. She would call you names. Tiffany served about 7 years for that relationship. When Tiffany was released, she was trying to get back on track, and she was doing well. Tiffany was fortunate because she had her family, she had her friends, and they were able to help her out with housing, to help her find employment. I honestly can say I thought Tiffany was going to make it. She was out about 4 years. Maybe she should have stayed longer the first time because she didn't learn her lesson. And once again, she goes back into prison. And guess what it's about? It's over a relationship. This time, while Tiffany is incarcerated, she's going to lose family and she's going to lose friends. Her father passed away while she was incarcerated. She was unable to attend the funeral and she was placed on suicide watch. Hearing that she was placed on suicide watch truly scared the family. But Tiffany's strong. She came through it. And we were so thankful and prayerful that she did come through this time. All the friends she had, or friends that she thought she had, they slowly slipped away. As a family, we weren't able to visit Tiffany because she was too far from us. And to get our mother to drive her up there and then turn around and come right back, we just felt it was too much of a hardship. I wanted to share this story because having a loved one incarcerated is difficult. Not only is your loved one locked away, but so is the family. You try to understand what that person is going through and you try to help, but sometimes you cannot meet all of their needs. Financially and emotionally, Tiffany placed demands on her family that the family wanted to meet but could not do all the time. You have to look at things that some people ask for are just too expensive. Her reintegration after her second release was difficult. Luckily, she had a place to stay, but finding employment was difficult. She went back to school. She wanted to become a psychologist, but because of her record, she was not able to do so. Tiffany was depressed and she needed help. Luckily, Tiffany was a veteran, and because she did have veteran status, she was able to find the services that helped her to get back on track. It's hard being locked away from your loved ones, and I applaud everyone that has a loved one that is incarcerated and you were able to support them. I applaud those who were released and still had the support of their family and friends. I want to say, continue that family connection with your loved ones and try to understand what they may be going through while incarcerated. I didn't understand the demands that Tiffany placed on the family because I didn't understand the pressures she may have been experiencing. I still think Tiffany is smart, popular, fashionable, but I look at myself differently now because I don't want to be like Tiffany. I found my voice, my confidence. I found myself. I want to end my speech by saying a big thank you to the Veterans of Virtue and the Ladies of Hope Ministries. The relationships in this cohort, the bonding in our weekly sessions has meant a lot to me. I have learned about finances, digital literacy, and how to take care of myself mentally and just take that moment for myself to relax. The bonds I've created with these women, I hope they turn into lifetime bonds. And I just want to say a big thank you to everyone. Thank you so much.
Hello, everyone. It's such a pleasure to be here. I am extremely grateful to the Ladies of Hope Ministries, particularly the Faces of Women in Prison program, for its remarkable impact, the abundance of resources, and most importantly, the opportunity to meet a fantastic group of beautiful women. I am Shawanda Manuel, a mother, a preacher's kid, a seasoned professional, and as of 2012 in the state of Florida, a convicted felon. I grew up as the humble, smart, sassy, around the way girl from Brooklyn, New York, affectionately labeled as the young Medea. According to my family and friends, I am the glue that holds everything and everyone together. But in the year that I got married, pregnant, and received a guilty plea, I had to ask myself, who's going to be my Medea? Did I mention that during that time, I was also diagnosed with breast cancer and undergoing a monthly radiation treatment? Talk about tossed lemons. A few years prior, I was at the height of my career, recently engaged, purchased a new home, and started a new job in a new city. I had left my previous employment on good terms, so I believed, even developing a timely transition plan and assisted with the onboarding and training for my successor for months after my resignation. But almost 2 years after, I received a certified letter stating that my former employee was now suing me for embezzlement, which was utterly false. Naturally, I was baffled, mad. But after stern advice from a legal colleague, I contacted and retained an attorney and began the process of this civil suit. This battle went on for months, filled with time-consuming legal matters that generally caused delays and extensions. In the months before my wedding, my attorney informed me that she received a call from the assistant U.S. district attorney who wanted to talk to me. The attorney thoroughly inquired as to this request because this was a civil case. Why did the DA want to speak with me? And because she was given such vague rationale and pushbacks, she denied the request. But unbeknownst to us, the case had turned now into a federal one because my former employee denied authorizing any additional monies that I received outside of my salary. Several weeks later, I was indicted by a grand jury for 62 counts of bank fraud and ultimately arrested. Fortunately, I was released the very next day, but I faced months of court appearances, drained bank accounts, and tons of emotions. Did I mention that I was now 4 months pregnant and I was on a new preventive medication regimen for this breast cancer? More lemons. There was an in-depth investigation into my accounts, surveillance in my life, and those that were with me. Various background checks, which all showed that I had none of this money that I was supposedly fraudulently obtained. Nor was there any indication or proof that I used this fraudulently obtained money to purchase my new home, which was initially suspected. Despite the outside accountant's monthly internal and yearly external audits, this case flourished because of the fabricated allegations that I had written checks to myself for work-related events and projects during the 7 years of my tenure. Really? 7 years. As expected, I went through every emotion, and I'm confident the pregnancy heightened that. I was sad, depressed, fearful, and furious because according to federal law, if I was found guilty, I could be fined up to $1 million, imprisoned up to 30 years, or both. What was I supposed to tell my kids? How can I fully explain this to my mom and my praying grandma while this whole matter was in sub judice? How could I comfort my new husband and keep us both understanding that we're dealing with the for better or for worse in the first 3 weeks of our marriage? I didn't have the answers. But yet I was nervously optimistic. I knew I had to stand tall, no matter how hard the blow. And I believed that my truth, my integrity, and my trustworthy character would serve as the sturdy roots and not let me fall. Did I mention I was stressed? Outside of a few family members spending some time in prison, I had no idea how the legal system worked, especially the difference between state and federal law. I had never been in trouble with the law, no criminal history, activity, or even association. But after the consultation with my attorneys, my grandma's prayers, extensive research on my own, and underwhelming support, I accepted the district attorney's plea. and I was convicted of one count of bank fraud and sentenced to a year and a day. Pleading guilty was the hardest thing I ever had to do, next to walking into a federal prison. Fortunately, the judge was lenient. He granted me a whole year to care for myself and my family, meaning I could have my baby at home and complete my cancer treatments. And I will also be able to assist my daughter with her high school graduation, planning and transition into college before turning myself in to spend 7 months split between a federal prison camp and a halfway house. Luckily, I have no horror stories or experience besides the mental stress and strains and stigma and separation from my family, especially my then 7-month-old baby. But I've met some of the savviest, funniest, innovative, and most compassionate women in those places. And I've also built a strong bond with a few of them who have now generally become family to me. While the past few years have not been easy, I am thrilled that I didn't have to go through any of this alone. I had a small group of Medeas surrounding me. My family and friends were by my side every step of the way, and were, to me, what they told I have been to others, the glue. And my baby, Miss Brooklyn, who will be 10 in May, by the way, is my extra tube of Gorilla Glue. She continues to be my strength in the craziest of times, and there are still some crazy times. For a long time after the release, I teetered between anger and depression because I convinced myself that I sold out, pleading guilty to something that I didn't do. And even at times, it still stings. But I now recognize that that decision wasn't just about me. I had my family and my health to consider. I'm happy to announce that with continued support, polished networking opportunities, I've resumed my career and continue to work in the nonprofit field. But now, with an emphasis in human resource, I've become an advocate to help others understand the dynamics of employment contracts, exit strategies, and transitions. But the best part of my day is when I get to champion for women and families impacted by prison and the legal system. I volunteer and serve as a board president with several organizations focused on just those matters. And currently, I'm in the infant stage of founding my own nonprofit to assist families impacted by incarceration because I'm living proof. Assisting with community resources, supporting the wrongfully convicted, reentry matters, and shining a light on criminal injustices and extensive sentences nationwide. So please, allow me to reintroduce myself. I am Shawanda Manuel, a breast cancer survivor, an advocate, a board president, and a voice to the voiceless. And I'm working on removing that convicted felon label because it simply doesn't define me. Thank you for listening. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Hello, my name is Vita Brooks. I am the director of the Women's Veterans Office for the state of Georgia. I want to thank you for inviting me to speak at your graduation. It is my honor to address you today. Hello, my name is Vita Brooks. I am the director of the Women's Veterans Office for the state of Georgia. I want to thank you for inviting me to speak at your graduation. It is my honor to address you today. In the small chance that no one has said this to you today, or if you didn't know, what you have accomplished through Faces of Women Imprisoned is commendable. You're not here by accident. It took hard work, commitment, and an innate desire to make lasting changes to your life. What brings me joy is knowing that future you will lay down any shame of the past and allow God to shine brightly and use you for a greater purpose. Future you will accomplish great things, make good choices, and change the world around you. You will find your joy and be the example for those who have lost hope. I love the words of Guy Sebastian's song, Standing With You. Luckily for you, I'm going to read it and not sing it. Instead of telling you you'll be all right, I'm just going to be that someone by your side. Let me be that distant satellite, a constant in the sky. Because I'm standing with you tonight. I will be that voice in your ear, quietly destroying all of your fear. You won't even know that I'm here, but I'm standing with you tonight. Until the clouds have run out of rain, close enough, but just out of sight, I am standing with you tonight. I am proud to stand with such a strong group of women who have made a decision to change their lives and to affect change on other women's lives. And I will continue to support you as I can. Fellow warriors, let me end this with just a small piece of advice. In the next chapter of your life, surround yourself with powerful, positive, strong, encouraging sisters to climb your mountain with you. If I may, let me recite a Bible verse. Ecclesiastic tells us two are better than one because they have a good reward for their toil. For if they fall, one will lift up the fellow. But woe to him who is alone when he falls and has not another to lift him up. We are here to lift you up today. So as we leave, I want you to remember to stay connected with those you have traveled thus far, but make new friends. As you climb to the tops of your mountains, laugh, spread smiles, and share tears with friends. Over the next few months, you will start a new journey and begin to build a foundation for the life God has called you to live and bring your dream to life. All I can tell you is climb fearlessly because we are all cheering you on. Thank you again for having me.
I had no idea that as a child in a military family, I was experiencing psychological stress. I did not know that deployments and frequent moves were impacting me mentally and emotionally. I was good at hiding emotions, worrying, and pretending to perform well. I never told my parents I was sad, scared, and depressed. I had friends, I made decent grades, and physically I was in great health. Yet inside I had issues, big issues. It was hard and at times crippling to be the new girl. And in a lot of places, I was the new Black girl. Now, my parents always said, go make friends. They had no idea how much I hated people walking up to me and start firing off these questions. It was inevitable at every place. I would be standing in front of a firing line, giving them my verbal resume. Hello, my name is Tanisha. I'm 10 years old. I'm in the 5th grade. My last school was Waller Elementary. I have a sister who's 4 years younger than me. I was born in California, but we moved here because of my dad's job. He's in the Air Force. We're stationed at Barksdale Air Force Base. No, I cannot swim. Yes, I like chocolate chip cookies. My favorite color is black.
Oh, yeah, I have a bike. Oh, I do know how to skate. Blah, blah, blah. I had become so used to this line of questioning that I actually started embellishing with every new introduction. Whether it was true or not, who cared? I wouldn't be here long anyway. At one point, I started using a new name, Anne. Yeah, I did that. Why? Because I wanted them to like me at their first meeting. Everyone always knew each other from previous schools or they lived in the same neighborhoods, but I was the one that had to fold in and figure out how things worked. I had to make decisions every time. Do I get in with the cool girls? Make it easy. Just find the black girls. You know what? Maybe this place is where I'm going to get my boyfriend and steer clear of all that drama. Those decisions became harder and harder, and even more so when I became a teenager. The peer pressure caused me to follow a terrible path that led to academic discipline and sexual abuse. And even still, I never once expressed the hurt and difficulties I had with adjusting. I just lived through it and coped as only I knew how, become someone else at the next place. Eventually, I moved on and became a young adult, and I married my husband, a Navy sailor. Little did I know the stress of military family life was just as difficult as an adult as I thought it had been as a child. I was a married woman now, but I had never stopped being the new kid. Now I was the new person. At work, I was the new person in the building, the new wife, and the new lady in the neighborhood. If I thought military childhood was hard, I learned very quickly military wife life was harder. My mother tried to tell me, but I don't think I fully understood. Uncle Sam was providing our husbands with careers, room and board, colleagues and friends, and uniforms that helped them get respect when they were seen in public, but not us. I mean, I get it. They earned it because they were the ones serving the country. But what about us? We left our jobs and our family and our friends to support them while they served this country. We were the ones finding new jobs and a place to fit in at every new duty station. It is true that the military provided the house, but we made it a home. There's a saying in the military that you get 3 hots and a cot, but it's the military spouses that cook those hot meals and launder those linens and press those uniforms according to military specs. I actually have a memory of the first duty station as a married couple. My husband reported to work and left me with the moving crew full of men I didn't even know. And I was the one having to tell him where to place the furniture, where to unload the boxes. And yet across the way, I saw a group of women, the wives, trying to decide which one was going to come over and give me the 411. For almost an hour, I was interrogated and given the scoop on who's married to whom, whose husband is stationed on what ship, and who I should be friends with or stay away from. And the whole time, all I wanted was for them to grab a box and help me get this house together. And imagine for me how it felt 1 month after that. My husband got transferred to another ship and was going on a 6-month deployment in 2 weeks. To this day, I still can't process how that was even possible. I was in a new city 3,000 miles away, and I was alone for 6 months. I tried to find a job and didn't really have any established references, and I didn't really have a work history. I didn't even get to finish college because I married him and moved away. So I went to a temp service and got a job because that's all I could get at that time. I had to fill that void of loneliness, and I wanted to contribute to our household finances in some way. Another issue for me was the camaraderie that he got to enjoy automatically just by being in the service. And I was forced to befriend the wives. I watched him go to happy hour. I got tagged along to barbecues. And all I had in common with these women was that our husbands worked together. We never talked about our shared experiences. We never talked about depression and anxiety. I wonder what would have been different had we actually expressed how we were really feeling. Or would we have just sounded ungrateful? I wish now we had spoken up, but we never did. We said nothing. Instead, we smiled and we put on that invisible mask and our super cape. That was our uniform. It let everybody know that we were military wives and we were okay. And we wore that to the detriment of ourselves and our children. We did, just as my parents did, go outside and make new friends. And then we sat around and we gossiped. And we talked about people and we made up lies to impress each other because God forbid we would tell the truth. We even engaged in harmful and reckless behaviors to cope with the loneliness of having a husband that was away for months at a time. It happened. I moved past it. And that path that I've taken over the last 48 years, I've arrived here today. And I realized that even though I never took the oath of enlistment, I was greatly impacted by my father and my husband's military service. I experienced trauma that until today I hadn't even put into words. I spent years being insecure, afraid, and lonely. But with God, therapy, and the support of friends, family, and the amazing women in my cohort, I know that I embrace all of the great things that the military has afforded me as a dependent. I've been to great places. I've seen things that other people may never get to see in this lifetime. I have friends all over the world, and I've become an expert at meeting people. I recognize faces, and I remember pretty much everything that I've learned. I turn every moment into a learning opportunity, and then I take that knowledge and share it with other people. And I found that I'm pretty interesting because I always have something to say. My resume has gotten better. Over the last 20 years, I've worked in higher education, and I've earned a degree at every level, a bachelor's, a master's, and a doctorate. And with the education and my lived experience, my heart to help people who don't have a support system or know how to access resources led me to co-found a nonprofit organization called Road to Redemption. At Road to Redemption, we help people adapt to life after incarceration, military service, homelessness, and domestic abuse. I put away my military dependent uniform, that mask and that cape I told you about, and I learned to just be me. In my brown skin and this plus size body, I've embraced every curve, every scar, every mole, and every stretch mark. The physical, the mental, and the emotional stress, it's there, but it doesn't own me. So right now you see me with no mask and no filter. I have a name that I'm proud of and a lot of subtitles to go with it. So let's end this with my introduction. I am Dr. Tanisha Price Wells. I'm a child of God, an Air Force brat, a Navy wife, a mother to Layla and Ava, a daughter, a sister, a friend, an educator, a mentor, a business owner, an overcomer, and a graduate of the Faces of Women Imprisoned Veterans Cohort, class of 2022. It is an honor and it is my pleasure to meet you.
Peace and wellness to you all, and congratulations to the newly graduating class of Faces of Women Imprisoned program. My name is Rachel Newsom, owner of Crowns on Wellness and a holistic health and wellness advocate for women's health. I'm honored to share this moment, this beautiful moment of transition with you all. Like you, I've experienced many transitional and life-changing events, one of which led me down my current path of service to the world. I always knew the calling on my life was to be a part of something bigger than myself and in some way to be of service to the world. Joining the Army was the first step in fulfilling that purpose. Albeit one of the greatest experiences of my life, my journey in the military was filled with many highs and devastating lows. And that really impacted my mind, body, and spirit. Being diagnosed with reproductive health issues, having reoccurring nightmares about the diagnosis, and having my body rebel against me from all of the chemicals I was subjected to was such a physical and emotional burden. And it wasn't until I separated from the military that I found real healing. I found a natural and holistic approach to healing every single physical and emotional ailment I had developed while serving. And with that same dedication, determination, and diligence I gave the Army, I used that to regain control of my mind, body, and spirit. The health complications from the military were actually the catalyst for my work in women's holistic health today. And like many of you, I had no idea that my choice would create a circumstance where my only chance to change would come when I chose myself over everything else. On the flip side, that choice also created a circumstance and an opportunity for me to develop discipline and to be diligent in my pursuit of healing, cultivate the courage to advocate for my health, and learn to be the leader of my journey to wellness, the author of my story, and the true health practitioner of my life. So, my words of encouragement during your time of transition is regardless of your circumstances, you can always choose something better. Understand that your real success in life starts when you do the work to heal your mind so that your body follows the calling of your spirit. I encourage you to always be active participants in your health and wellness and all of the endeavors that come with that. Be wise enough to know when you need help, but understand that no one, and I do mean no one, can do the work to heal you but you. You being whole and in tune attracts every divine resource that belongs to you. Your wealth in life, it will begin with your health. Again, congratulations to you, amazing souls, and may your journey to wellness be divinely guided.
Hello, and congratulations to all you beautiful Faces of Women in Prison for completing this program. As a graduate myself, I trust that the invaluable information you've gained will profoundly shape the trajectory of your journey. As you continue in your leadership roles of service, may your light continue to shine ever so brightly as you stand honorably in your dignity. I have the utmost respect for your innate qualities of womanhood and all the responsibilities that entails. I encourage you to stand firm in the Lord according to Philippians 4:1, and may God continue to bless all of you, your families, in Jesus' name. Congratulations.